1 silver, 2 bronzes, and 12 COVID cases. Half of Taiwan's national karate team tests positive for COVID. Santa Claus came into town, but unfortunately in the U.S., tens of thousands couldn't due to canceled flights. A Christmas gift. Taiwan pledges aid and relief supplies after Typhoon devastates the Philippines. And as we near the end of the year, we take a look back at some of Taiwan's heroes of 2021. A warm welcome to TaiwanPlus News. I'm Betty Chen. Taiwan's Central Epidemic Command Center announced 16 confirmed cases of COVID-19 on Monday, all of them imported. But the number of COVID cases among a karate team representing Taiwan in Kazakhstan is edging up. The team of 22 returned just before the weekend, and so far, 12 of the athletes have tested positive. Bing Wang has the details.
Taiwan's national karate team returned home on the 24th with 3 medals, 1 silver and 2 bronze. But they also brought back something much less welcome with them. At least half of the athletes on the team tested positive for COVID-19 upon entering Taiwan. Now the entire team must stay in a government center for their 14-day quarantine and await further testing.
由哈萨克12月24号入境那这一团总共有22人，他们是前往哈萨克进行这个体育方面的竞赛。
Dozens of athletes from the same competition were infected. They included members from Taiwan, Thailand, Japan, and Hong Kong. Back here in Taiwan, there are concerns that athletes could be infected with the more contagious strains of the virus.
一定是 Delta 或者是 Omicron 两个是2择1啊，看起来是真的非常快，只要几乎是全团里面一下子，即使已经有做好自我的保护，也还是看得出来很明显的容易造成一些传播的情况之下，我想应该可能 Omicron 机会还是稍微略高一点。
The sole domestic case this weekend was an unvaccinated Taiwanese person. The good news is that the test results indicated that he contracted the virus a while ago and poses little threat to the community. Taiwan's National Immigration Agency also announced that under the Carefree COVID-19 vaccination program, they have vaccinated more than 30,000 people who have overstayed their visas. So far, Taiwan has fully vaccinated 67% of the population, with around 80% receiving at least 1 dose. And with cases at near zero level in recent weeks, coupled with strict quarantine measures for international travelers, people in Taiwan are hopeful they can enjoy the upcoming Lunar New Year free of COVID concerns. Damon Lin and Bing Wang for TaiwanPlus.
Taiwan has pledged $500,000 in aid and has sent 2 aircraft with relief supplies to help the Philippines recover from Typhoon Rai. The tropical storm battered central and southern provinces last week, killing at least 375 people and affecting millions more. Our reporter Pichi Zhang has the story.
The Philippine Air Force posted photos on its Facebook of a Taiwanese military transport aircraft bearing the national flag. The aircraft carrying disaster relief supplies arrived at an airbase in Cebu on Christmas Day.
这是载运的物资与菲律宾灾民当前最需要的口粮、饼干、泡面、瓶装饮用水与罐头为主，期盼在菲律宾最困难的时刻，提供我国政府与人民最及时的关怀。
The Philippine envoy to Taiwan also expressed his gratitude. Super Typhoon Rai pummeled the central and southern parts of the country in mid-December. The trail of destruction brought flooding and knocked out power, telecommunications, and water supplies. At least 375 people were killed, hundreds more were injured, and 60 remain missing. About 4 million people were affected in total. One island that was especially hard hit was the surfing paradise of Siargao.
当时我们的感觉就是像经历了一场战争，就是我们的岛被轰炸过一遍，因为所有的房屋树全是倒的，然后那时候刚刚好日出，就是那个黄色、红色的那个光照过来，那个真的是就是可能这一辈子这个场景就已经刻在脑子里面了。
The United Nations and its NGO partners have launched an appeal for $107 million to help survivors of the typhoon. Alex Chen and Pichu Zhang for TaiwanPlus.
A facial recognition technology used by police in Taiwan has been temporarily suspended after it emerged officers used the system to guess the age of a woman reporting a crime. The incident occurred in Xinqing district in Taiwan's southern city of Kaohsiung. Officers believed the woman looked like a celebrity, so made bets on her age. The police department said they will revise regulations for the system and mandate that it is only used for procedures relevant to maintaining public order. Rights groups globally have expressed concerns about the infringement of privacy with facial recognition technology. Taiwan Railways Administration has launched its newest intercity express service. Using brand new trains from Japanese manufacturer Hitachi, the service travels between New Taipei and Taidong on Taiwan's east coast in around 4 hours. The trains offer 40% more seats than other services on a route, including a business class carriage for the first time. The new trains also come installed with additional safety features designed to ease passenger concerns after 2 major crashes on the East Coast line in the past 4 years. A one-way ticket will cost just under $30. Scientists in Taiwan believe they may have discovered early warning signs of when an earthquake is going to happen. The Central Weather Bureau, which is overseeing an upgrade to Taiwan's earthquake monitoring and warning system, said it was optimistic about the discovery. A research team at National Central University has been studying earthquakes on the island's east coast for nearly 30 years. They found abnormal seismic activity 15 to 20 days prior to 3 significant earthquakes that affected the eastern county of Hualien this year.
东部的地势呢，它会有比西部有一些异常的讯号出来啊。那我想这是一个很好的一个发现，一步一步的把一些讯号把它分离出来，希望能够在地震前兆让台湾能够拔得头筹。
Thailand has boosted security along its border with Myanmar as it braces for more refugees fleeing worsening violence. More than 30 people, including women and children, were killed by government forces and their bodies burned in Kaya State in the eastern part of Myanmar. 2 people working for Save the Children have gone missing in the area, with the international aid group calling for their safe return. Shells also landed on the Thailand side of the border over the weekend. More than 1,375 people have been killed and more than 8,000 jailed in crackdowns on protests and armed opposition since the military junta seized control in February. Cancelled is the word travelers fear the most, especially around the time of the holidays. For many people, the COVID pandemic has ruined Christmas for the 2nd year running. U.S. airlines canceled hundreds of flights over the weekend with not enough crew members to fly them. Many of their staff called in sick or were confined to quarantine after exposure to the virus. Tens of thousands of passengers saw their holiday travel plans disrupted. The Omicron variant now accounts for nearly 3/4 of the new COVID cases in the U.S. In some areas, the rate is up to 90%. Omicron case numbers are expected to peak in early to mid-January. Airlines will likely continue to be short-staffed until that point and even beyond. 3 members of the K-pop boy band BTS are now confirmed with COVID-19. The 3 tested positive on their return to South Korea after performing concerts in the U.S. It was the band's first overseas tour since 2019. The 3 members who tested positive were all fully vaccinated. The group's management said they're experiencing mild to no symptoms and are now isolating at home. Coming up, we meet some of the heroes who put it all on the line for Taiwan in 2021. Details in a moment.
Welcome to Legit Mando. It's Jacob here and Mr. Sweet Potato.
It's us again, the perfect duo.
你好吗?
如果我跟他掉到海里，你会救我还是他？我喜欢你。
喜欢 means like.
I prefer telling people what I don't like.
吃过了吗？
北宫一鲜奶茶一样无糖少冰，要加小芋圆，不用吸管，谢谢。
I can't wait to learn more Mandarin. I'm just going by the script.
Your sarcasm is creeping back again.
Your feelings are correct.
"今天台湾人要了解的是，我们跟这片土地关系里面，它是跟你的生命的根源息息相关。像这个红冠、扁柏等等，他们都是台湾的神明。长期以来，我一直误以为我在抢救山林，直到最近10年来，我才了解，我从来没有抢救山林。而是山林从来在抢救我们。我们的地球46亿年来，我们就是它的一部分，它就是我们共同的灵魂，流传在我的血液中，也流动在树叶当中。
Welcome back. You're watching TaiwanPlus News. A reminder of our top story. Taiwan's Central Epidemic Command Center announced 16 confirmed cases of COVID-19 on Monday, all of them imported. But the number of COVID cases among a karate team representing Taiwan in Kazakhstan is edging up. The team of 22 returned just before the weekend, and so far 12 of the athletes have tested positive. South African Archbishop Desmond Tutu, a titan of the country's anti-apartheid movement and Nobel Peace Prize winner, has died aged 90.
We raise our hands and we say, we will be free! All of us! Black and white together! For we are marching to freedom!
Tutu dedicated his life to the struggle for a rainbow nation. Tributes have poured in from all around the globe following the news. Many South Africans gathered outside his former parish in Cape Town to lay flowers. Tutu was the leading figure in South Africa's push for truth and reconciliation after apartheid. He spent much of his later life helping other countries' transitional justice efforts, including Taiwan, which he visited in 2007. And now we bring you the story of a South African family who have set down their roots in a rural part of northeastern Taiwan. Our reporter Sandy Chi went to meet them.
15-year-old Sebastian Meyer stands out in this performance of a Taiwanese opera, Journey to the West. He is actually a South African who traveled east to Taiwan with his family in 2017.
I just like being here and communicating with friends and how easy it is to be a part of Taiwan and them considering you as one of a Taiwanese, basically.
Sebastian lives in Elan with his family, his parents, 2 siblings, and their grandmother. They joined an uncle who settled here 16 years earlier.
Being back at home, I think there were too many struggles and difficulties that came upon us. For instance, like farm murders, like the road rages that was there, burning the fires. That was more frightening, I would say, time that I would say, listen, I just need to flee.
Initially, the Mayers worried about learning the language and fitting in, especially for their adopted son, Tabul. But their concerns were quickly put to rest.
The people are just nice here because there's some stuff like what you can't do in South Africa, and then and you come here, then it's like you can't just do it.
You don't get it. Look here. Like this.
One thing the mayors did in South Africa that they're still doing here is make this traditional milk tart. Mandy feels it's important to hold on to their heritage. As settled they are now, there are still challenges to their life in Taiwan.
I have to fly out every 6 months because I'm on a visitor's visa. Now with COVID, I had a little bit of respite. I could stay, and they renewed my visa. But that is one big difficulty for me, because I have been diagnosed with COPD, and it's very difficult for me to fly.
But the mayors are hopeful their grandmother's residency issue will be resolved. They feel fortunate to be among only 887 South Africans to have settled in Taiwan. Although half a world away from their land of origin, they're glad they made the journey east to this island that's now their home. Patrick Chen and Sandy Chi for TaiwanPlus.
The end of the year 2021 is just around the corner. We now bring you a special segment with Erica Liu, who looks back on Taiwan's challenging year and the people who made it more manageable.
Taiwan's Olympians picked up 12 medals in Tokyo, more than at any other Olympics, and charming everyone watching from home. With a steady hand, Health Minister Chen guided Taiwan through its worst outbreak of COVID-19 to date. And his trusty mascot, Zongcai, did her part too. Our fighter pilots worked around the clock to keep the nation safe, and President Tsai Ing-wen stood strong in the face of threats from China. But this year, more than anything, it was the ordinary people doing extraordinary tasks who won our hearts, like the medical staff keeping us safe and vaccinated, and everyone who masked up and got their jabs. This year, you were our heroes too. In 2021, we were fortunate enough to meet some of these heroes, and today we want you to hear them speak too. We begin with Taiwan's friends in the international community who have grown more vocal in their support of the country. Some, like Lithuanian parliamentarian Dovile Shakliene, have even gotten sanctioned by China in the process. But that hasn't stopped her. If anything, it spurred her on. TaiwanPlus's Yinka Vat sat down with the parliamentarian to find out why she's risking it all to stand in solidarity with Taiwan. She told us why she sees China as a global aggressor rather than a global power.
Sending fighter jets into the skies over Taiwan during our visit kind of shows that probably they don't understand how democracy works, and that threats and intimidation is not a way to establish your reputation as a global power, because global powers are based on rules of law and of keeping to international standards. But if you are an aggressor, you have low self-esteem, you are not sure of yourself, you have to beat up everybody else around you, because that's the only way you can rise up your self-esteem.
Ever since Beijing imposed a sweeping national security law in Hong Kong last year, tens of thousands of Hong Kongers have left the city. The exodus has included people from all walks of life, from teachers to lawyers to politicians and even artists. TaiwanPlus reporter Louise Watt went to meet renowned Hong Kong artist in exile Casey Wong to find out why he started a new life in Taiwan.
It offers freedom of artistic expression, like old Hong Kong used to be. And for me, that's the most important thing, that I can explore fine arts and do my work without worrying censorship or worrying about somebody going to temper my topics, my subject matter.
At a time when chanting a slogan or even holding up a sign could get you arrested, Wong was worried his art could put him behind bars. The all-encompassing nature of the legislation means what is illegal is no longer spelt out clearly.
The way I look at it is like turning the law into art. The government have turned the law into something open for interpretation. I don't think I will ever go back to Hong Kong, to tell you honestly. The reason being is Hong Kong is, for me, only represents a beautiful empty shell. You know, like a beautiful car with no engine.
Taiwan is one of the most queer-friendly countries in Asia, having made great strides in LGBT rights in the last few years. But the transgender community is often left behind. This year has seen signs of progress, though, thanks to brave transgender citizens like Wu Yuxuan, who took the government to court. Rick Glart reports on her case.
Wu is suing the government because it won't let her change her identification documents to reflect her gender without undergoing surgery. It's a situation she says contravenes her right to privacy and causes problems in everyday life.
If you go to some place that may need your ID, then they may ask, and why your identity says that you are male, but you look like female. Are you using the other people's ID like that?
Before she heads into the hearing, a vote of confidence from her grandfather. And authorities require people who want to change their gender marker on official documents to undergo both a mental health assessment and gender reassignment surgery. Human rights groups are trying to change that.
Yeah, because we believe that everybody enjoys the right to obtain the identification in line with their gender identity. That's a basic human right and guaranteed by our Constitution.
Imagine the pressures of creating a vaccine to fight COVID-19 in the midst of an outbreak. Well, Charles Chen, the CEO of Taiwanese pharmaceutical company Medigen, did just that. When the Medigen vaccine was released in Taiwan for emergency use before passing phase 3 clinical trials, Chen defied critics and championed its safety. Here's why.
Due to the very unique Taiwan situation, which is that we have no problem here. So because we have very, very low incident rate, therefore there's no possibility to do this phase 3 trial. So people should understand this is our luck instead of our problem, right? But now when you look at the data today, especially the one I said that we published in Lancet, people should feel more confident. As I keep saying all the time, that data actually is the best evidence to let people get a confidence.
Since our interview with CEO Charles Chen, the Medigen vaccine has passed phase 3 trials. Malaysian hip-hop artist Name Wee took the internet by storm with his track Fragile, a duet written with Australian singer Kimberly Chen. The song, which takes aim at the glass hearts of people online, struck a chord with many in Taiwan, but got him banned in China. In an exclusive interview with Ken Ning, Name Wee explained why Taiwan is the perfect place to create music.
For Name Wee, the best thing about making music in Taiwan is you don't have to worry about censorship.
你说创作作品，其实在哪里都可以创作，只是发表作品的时候，我觉得台湾这边给我的包容度是很大的。而且之前我写过一首歌叫《鬼岛》，那首歌其实是有在酸，也有在讽刺什么一些台湾的一些现象什么。 然后这种歌如果在一些其他某国家可能会被骂死，或者被禁、被下架、被封杀，台湾没有，而且还让我入围金曲奖最佳年度歌曲，对我来说是一个就是台湾就是有这样的包容力跟尺度。
With the support of his peers and fans around the world, Name Wee is an artist at the height of his powers. And as his latest album makes clear, the freedom of creativity requires freedom of speech. And in Taiwan, Name Wee has found the perfect partner for his music. Patrick Chen, Chris Ma, and Ken Ning for TaiwanPlus.
She's the hacktivist turned minister that used technology to help beat back Taiwan's COVID outbreak. Audrey Tang has also become a poster woman for Taiwan's unique brand of democracy and recently represented the country at Joe Biden's inaugural Summit for Democracy. She told TaiwanPlus' Zinka Vat why we need digital public spaces.
Well, I believe that democracies around the world are now seeing what Taiwan have seen in 2016 when we classified for the first time the investment in digital public infrastructure as public infrastructure. Prior to that, infrastructure money and budget were allocated mostly for concrete things like buildings made out of concrete. But actually, after that, we now know the digital equivalent of museums, of public libraries, of town halls, of university campuses, and so on are every bit as worth investing as their concrete counterparts. For if we do not invest in the digital commons, the citizens in a democracy will be kind of forced to take their democratic conversations in the digital equivalent of the entertainment sector. And that will lead to more, I guess, polarization and a less legitimacy of democracy itself, because it will amplify the more antisocial parts of democratic discourse rather than the pro-social part.
That was Audrey Tang, one of our heroes of the year, in a special hosted by Erica Liu. Remember to download the TaiwanPlus app and stay tuned all this week as we celebrate some of our favorite moments of 2021. Well, here's one of my favorite moments in our winter so far. It was a white Christmas for Taiwan's Jade Mountain with a sprinkling of snow and flurries over the weekend. Taiwan's highest peak was tipped white by Monday morning as a continental cold front sent temperatures dropping around the country. 2 showers in the early hours brought a light blanket of snow half a centimeter thick, enough to cover the Yushan weather station at an elevation of 3,800 meters. Thanks for watching TaiwanPlus News. We'll leave you with some of the images of the crowds in New Taipei City celebrating Christmas. For more stories from Taiwan and around the world, please download the TaiwanPlus app. Stay safe and see you next time.